Hey guys, welcome back to the last part of Restaurant Management System project. In the previous part, we saw the functionality of these three buttons. And in this video, we will see the functionality of these two buttons, send button and this reset button. I am in my original project and let me show you what functionality we have to add to this send button. Let me select one item from each category. Total, receipt, and then when I click on the send button, you see here we are getting a new window, and this new window is known as top level window because it is on the top of our main window. So here firstly we have this logo, then this label, then this entry field, then again this label, then this text area, and then this send button. That's it. So we have to firstly create this GUI. After that, we will see the functionality of how to get the bill data from here to here, and then how we will send this bill data to any particular mobile number. So let's see. So to this send button, I'm going to provide a command equals to send. So whenever you will click this button, this send function that we will be defining will be called, and whatever code will be written inside that function, that code will be executed. So let's define this function and write the code inside this function at the top here. So here I'll define this function def send. So firstly we will be creating a window on top of our main window. That window can be created with the help of top level class. We just have to create object of this top level. So I'll give the object variable as root2. You can give any name of your choice. Now we again have to keep this top level window on hold so that we can see it continuously. For that we have to use main loop method, which is also present in the TK class. So all the methods that were present inside the TK class, same methods are present inside this top level class as well. Then we have to set the title of our top level window. So I'll write root2 dot title method, and here we'll pass the title send bill. Then I will change the background color of our window. So I'll use config method, and here the background color will be red 4 that we already used in our main window. Then I will set the width and the height of our window. So I'll use geometry method, and here the width will be 485 x, the height will be 620, and from x-axis I will place this window at a distance of 50, and similarly from y-axis also at a distance of 50. Let me run this. Right click and run. If I click on the send button, we are not seeing any window. I made a mistake. So here if you see this top level, I have not provided parenthesis to it. Let's run it again. If I click again, now you can see we are getting a window. Now at the top here we have to add a logo. So you can use any logo of your choice, but I will be using which I used in my original project. So this is the logo that I pasted here from my original project. This is 128 x 128 PNG file. You can get these images from website flaticons.com. We cannot use this image directly in our code. Firstly, we have to create object of this image. So after providing the geometry, I'm going to create object of this image. So I'm going to give object variable as logo image, and I'll be using a photo image class. Here we need to mention the file name, which is sender.png. So this variable represents this image. Now we will be creating a label, and on that label we will be adding this image. So label equals to, we'll be using a label class. This label will now be inside my root2 window. If you add root window, then this label will appear on your main window. So I don't want it on a main window, I want it on a top level window. So I'll write root2 here. Then I want to add image on this label. So I'll write image logo image, this one. And then I'll pack this. So I'll write label dot pack method to add this on our window. Let's see. If I click on the send button, we are getting a logo. Now let's change the background color of this logo. So here I'll add BG equals to red4, and then we need to create another label on which this time we will be adding text instead of image. So this one is a number label, and again I'll be using label class. This label will be on my root 2 window. Then the text will be mobile number. Then I will provide font to this text. The style will be Arial, size will be 18, and this time I'll make it underline. So you will see a line just below this text. Then I'll make the background color of this label same as that of window, and the text color will be white. So let's pack it, number label dot pack method. Let's see, send. So here we are getting text on a label and the text is underlined. Let's make it bold also, and then after that we will be adding entry field, so it will be bold underline. And then let's create entry field where the user will type mobile number. So number field, this is the object variable, and I'll be using entry class. This entry field will be inside my root 2 window. After that, whatever text you will write inside this field, that will be in this font. The style will be Helvetica, size will be 22, and it will be bold. Then I will provide border to this entry field of 3, and then I'll add some width. It will be 24, and then I'll pack it. So number field dot pack method. Let's see, send, and here we are getting our entry field, right? Now again we need to create a label, bill details, and it will be similar to this one. So I'm going to copy this label from here and I will paste here. Instead of number label, this one will be bill label. Then the text here will change to bill details. Everything else will remain same. After that, we have to create text area inside which we will be adding our bill. So here I am going to create text area with the help of text class, and this text area will be inside my root 2 window. Then I will add font for the bill text. So style will be Arial, size will be 12, and it will be bold. Then I will add border of 3. Now let's pack it, text area dot pack method. Let me show you. So this text area is going outside of this window. Let's fix its width and the height. So here I am going to provide width as 42 and then the height as 14. After that, we have to create a send button here at the bottom just after this text area. So I'm going to give a variable name send button. I'll be using button class. This button will be inside my root 2 window. The text on this button will be send. Then I will add font for the text. The style will be Arial, size will be 19, and it will be bold. Then I will provide background color to this button as white, and the text color will be red 4. Then I will give border of 7 and the styling to this border as groove. Now let's pack it, send button dot pack method. Let's see. This is how it looks. Let me provide little vertical padding to these so that there can be little vertical spaces between them. So inside all these pack method, I will add pad y, which will be vertical padding. So just place multiple cursors with the help of Alt and the mouse left button and add pad y equals to 5. Let's see. Yeah, now we got vertical spacing between these widgets. So our GUI is complete here. Now let's add bill data inside this text area that we will be sending to any mobile number. So here at the top, firstly I will be adding bill number and date of order. Then I will be adding cost of food, cost of drinks and cost of cakes. After that, subtotal, service charge and the total cost. Let's see. So here I'll write text area dot insert method, and at the end I'm gonna insert receipt ref string, then 2 tab spaces. After that I have to use bill number variable. Inside that variable we were having randomly generated bill number, so that bill was inside this receipt function, so we have to use this variable and also this date variable inside that function. So I have to make these two global inside this function so that I can use them outside of this function. Bill number comma date. Let's go back. So here I will add that bill number variable inside which we have randomly generated bill number. Then again I will add backslash t and then the date variable inside which we were having our date. And then I will add a new line character \n. After that we have to insert cost of food, cost of drinks, cost of cake. So from this receipt function I'm gonna copy that. So here I have this code. So firstly it is going to check if cost of food entry field is not set to 0 rupees, then only this cost of food value will be inserted. In the same way for other two, right? Then we will be adding subtotal, service tax and the total cost. We already seen this thing in the previous video, how to add all this. So I'm simply going to copy from here and then I'll be pasting here. Here I will have to change this text receipt to text area, because instead of receipt we will be adding all these inside our text area. So I'll write text area. Here I will add only one new line character instead of 2 new line characters, so that we can save some spaces, because we just have to send SMS. So it has to be a short message. Here we have to change these variables. So this one will be cost of drinksware, then this one will be cost of cakesware. Let's see. So this is the bill detail that we will be sending. Let me add a new line character so that there can be a space, 2 new line space like this. So here after adding the date I will add one more new line character. Now we have to work on the functionality of the send button. So whenever you will click this send button, this particular command will be executed. This is a function that we need to define. So here at the top I'll write def send message. So whatever message that is inside our text area, I will store that in one variable message. So message equals to text area dot get method, and from start till end I will get everything, and that message will be stored inside this message variable, right? Then from where we will get the number, so I will store that number in this number variable. We will get that number from the number field. So I'll write number field dot get method. To this get method we don't have to pass anything. So we got our message inside this message variable and number inside this number variable. So open your web browser. Here type fast2sms. Visit this first website www.fast2sms.com. Here what you have to do, here you have to sign up. You have to fill all these details and then click on the submit button. Once you sign up you will be getting 50 rupees as credit. I already signed up, so I'm going to simply log in. Once you log in you will see a page like this. Here you will have your amount. Now you have to go to this Dave API and then to this API section. So this API authorization key will help you to send SMS with the help of this Fast2SMS website. So you just have to copy it from here. After copying the API key, I am going to create a variable auth, inside which I will paste that API key in the form of a string like this. After that, we have to get the URL of the website which will help us to send SMS. So this is the URL that you have to mention. After that, you have to create a dictionary. I'm going to give a name, params. Inside this dictionary, we have to pass few keys and their values. Now to access this website, we have to download one external module. So go to your terminal here, type pip install request and hit enter. Once this module is successfully installed, now you can import it. So at the top write import request. Then after this dictionary, I'm going to use that module request dot get method. To this get method, we have to pass which website we want to request to get the access. So here we have that website inside this URL variable. After this, we have to pass the params that this website will take, and those params are inside this params variable, right? So I'll pass this params dictionary here, and then this website will return us the response, and I will store that in some variable response. Then I will convert this response into a dictionary format. So I'll use .json method. This JSON method helps us to convert the data in the form of a dictionary, and I will store that in dict variable like this. This dictionary will have one key return, and its value will be either true or false. If your message will be sent successfully, then it will return true, otherwise it will return false. So I will get that true or false value in some variable result. I will use dict.get, and inside this I will pass this return. So this will either return true or false. If the message will be sent successfully, it will return true, and the true value will be stored inside this result variable. Otherwise, false value will be stored inside this result variable. And then we can check if result equals to true. This means the message is sent successfully. So I will simply display a message box on the screen. So I'll use this message box dot show info method, and firstly we have to pass the title. So send successfully will be the title. After that, we have to pass the message. So here I'll write message send successfully. Otherwise, we will go to the else part, and in the else part we will only go when the result value will be false. It means the message is not sent successfully, there is something wrong. So again I'll display a message box dot show error. This time it will be an error method, and firstly the title will be error, and the message will be something went wrong like this. So that's it. This is the functionality that we have to add to the send message function. Now you can run this code and send the bill to your mobile number. I will not send it because I'm not going to write my number on number field. You guys can check that. So here you just have to write the mobile number and then click on the send button, and your bill will be sent successfully. And now let's work on the functionality of this reset button. When I click this reset button, everything from here should be deleted. All this check button should be unchecked. The entry fields data should be deleted, and the fields should be disabled. So we just have to reset everything here. Firstly, I am going to provide a command to this reset button equals to reset, and let's define this at the top. Def reset. Firstly, I will delete everything from the text receipt. So I'll write text receipt dot delete method, and from the start till end I will delete everything. Let's see. Total receipt. So we have this receipt. Now if I click on this reset button, you can see the receipt is cleared. Now I want, if there is any quantity written on this entry field, that should be set to 0. So I will use those variables that we used already. So we will use edal variable and we'll set the value to 0. In the same way, we have to set rest of the entry fields. You can see I have set all the entry fields value to 0, right? Let's see. If you select these entry fields and these entry fields have some other quantity other than 0, like this, total receipt, right? Now if I click on this reset button, you can see everywhere now 0 is set. I also want to disable these entry fields. So after this I'll write text roti dot config method and I'll make the state back to disabled. In the same way I will do for rest of the entry fields. So I have disabled all the entry fields state inside this reset function. Let's see. Let me select few items. Now if I click on this total receipt, right, now reset button, you can see firstly 0 is set and then the state is disabled. And now if the check buttons are checked, when I click on this reset button, I want to uncheck them. After this, we are going to use those var variables that we define inside those check buttons. var1, this represented roti check button, I'll simply set it to 0. 0 means this check button will be unchecked. Similarly, var2, which is the dal check button variable, dot set 0. This way we will do for the rest of the check buttons. So I have completed here till 27. Let's see. If I check these check buttons and click on this reset button, you can see these are unchecked now. After that, suppose if I select few quantities from here, total, receipt and this reset button, you can see from this text receipt everything is getting deleted and here everything is reset. Now we also have to remove these values from these entry fields. So again we will be using the variables that we define inside these entry fields and we will set simply null. So these are 6 variables corresponding to those 6 entry fields and I have set them to null. It means there will be nothing on the entry field whenever you will click the reset button. Let me show you. So if I select this item, total, and I click on this reset button, total cost entry field text is not getting deleted. Let's see why. So here the variable name is total cost var and not total cost. Let me show you. Reset. You can see everything is reset here. So we are done with the functionality of this reset button also. Now I would like to add few validations here. If you don't select any item and you directly just click on this total button, so here we are seeing 0 rupees in these entry fields. I don't want this thing. If the user does not select any item from here and directly try to click on this total button, I will be displaying a message box that no item is selected. So inside total cost function, I'm going to apply a condition. So inside this total cost, just after these global variables, I'm going to apply a condition if var1, this is the variable for the check button, dot get, if this is not equals to 0, or var2 dot get is not equals to 0. And similarly, I will add all 27 check buttons here. Here I have applied the condition if any one of the check buttons will not be equals to 0, this if condition will become true. Because of this or, because I have used or here, what this or operator does, if any of these conditions will become true, then this complete condition will become true. And if all the check buttons will be set to 0, then only this condition will become false. I hope you understood why I have added this backward slashes here, to make this complete as one condition. So if any one of the check buttons will not be equals to 0, then only I want this complete code to execute. So I will select all this code and provide indentation. So if any one of the check buttons will not be equals to 0, this if condition will become true and this calculation will take place, right? And all the price of food, price of drinks, price of cakes will be calculated and will be inserted on these text entry fields. Now what if all the check buttons are unchecked? In that case we will go to the else part, and in the else part I will display a message box. So I'll write message box dot show error, and here the title will be error and the message will be no item is selected. Let's see. So if you don't select any item, if you click on this total button, you can see we are getting a message box. And if you select some item and then click on this total button, this time the else part will not execute, this time the if code will be executed and we will be getting all this cost inside these entry fields. I hope you understood this. Next condition we will apply to this receipt function. Let me show you. If the user directly clicks on this receipt button, we are getting a receipt like this, and this does not look good as there are no items and their cost. We will check these entry fields if these are null or not. If these are not null, then we will display the receipt when we will be clicking on this receipt button. Otherwise, again we will show the message box no item is selected. You can see if you directly click on the receipt button, you will be getting an error like this. So here we will check if total cost of food, total cost of drinks and total cost of cakes entry field is null or not. So I have applied a condition here. If these three entry fields will not be null, then only I will execute this code. So I will select everything till here and then I will provide indentation like this. And if these will be null, we will simply go to the else part. So here I will add else part, else. In the else part, I will display a message box, show error, no item is selected. Let me show you. So right now the entry fields are null here, right? If I directly click on this receipt button, we are seeing this no item is selected. Okay, but if you select few items from here, right, and then you click on this total button and now you click on this receipt, then now we are getting this receipt here. In the same way, if someone directly clicks on the save button, I should not be getting this window because there is nothing on this text receipt. So what will you save, right? So in the save function, I will check if the receipt field is empty or not. If it is empty, I will not display save as dialog box. And if it is not empty, then only I will display save as dialog box. Let's see. So coming to the save function, if text receipt dot get method, this will get everything from the text receipt and I will check if it is equals to a new line character. When the text receipt is empty, it only has this new line character, nothing else. So I will check if this is equals to a new line character. So I will simply pass. It means I will do nothing. And in the else part, so I will simply select all of this and will provide tab space like this. So if there will be nothing on the text receipt, it will simply pass and do nothing. Otherwise, it will execute this code. Let's see. So right now on this text receipt, there is nothing. It means only \n is there. If I click on the save button, you can see nothing is happening. We are not getting a dialog box here, right? Because it is simply passing. But if I insert something inside this text receipt like this, so now we have something inside this text receipt. If I click on the save button, I made a mistake here. Here this get function takes some argument from start till end, from where to where you want to delete, like this. Now let's run. If you provide something, total, receipt, and then the save button. Now you can see we are getting this save as dialog box because there is something on this text receipt, right? Now suppose if you don't want to save this, you have mistakenly clicked on the save button and you want to cancel here. So you will be getting an error here. None type object has attribute right. Since you have not provided any file name, that is why you are getting this error. So here inside this URL, there was no path added. So that is why it was unable to write the build data there. That is why you are getting this error. So what I will do here, I will check if URL equals to none. If there is no URL, no path inside this URL variable, then we will simply pass, and in the else part I will be executing this code, right? Let me show you. Now if I don't want to save, I click on this cancel button. Now you can see we are not getting any error. Now let's add validation to our send button. If I directly click on the send button, you can see this is how it looks. There is no build details. We will display this top level window only when this text receipt will have build details. If this is empty, then we will not display this. So again I am going to apply the same condition. If text receipt dot get from start till end, if there will be nothing on the text receipt, then it will be equal to \n, right? In that case I will simply pass, I will do nothing, and in the else part I will be executing this complete code. So you will be seeing the window only when it will go in the else part. Let me show you. If you directly click on the send button, you are not able to see the window. But if there will be something inside the text receipt, then only you will be able to see this window. So I hope you understood these validations. I have added these validations to make the project better. So we are done with this project. If you have any suggestions, any doubts, any queries, let me know in the comment section. See you in the next project. Thank you for watching.